Peter Pan, Captain Hook's Shadow by Jasmine Jones. Walk the plank, Peter Pan! John Darling yelled, waving a wooden sword at his brother Michael. The boys were playing in their nursery, and John pretended to be Captain Hook, and Michael was pretending to be Peter Pan. All right, Michael and John, it's time for bed, Wendy said, walking into the room. Oh, just 5 more minutes, John pleaded. You'll have plenty of time to walk the plank tomorrow, Wendy said. Michael and John put down their swords dutifully and crawled into their bed. Soon John and Wendy were fast asleep, but Michael squeezed his eyes shut. But it was no use. He kept picturing Captain Hook trying to capture Peter Pan. Suddenly, Michael heard rattling sounds, followed by a loud whoosh. He opened his eyes and looked around. The window doors had been thrown open, but no one was there. And Michael noticed a shadow on the far wall. He gasped in fear. The shadow looked like Captain Hook. Michael wanted to run, but he couldn't. All he could do was hide. Michael quickly dove underneath the covers, and Captain Hook was very scary. But under the covers didn't make Michael feel any better. He needed to know if a pirate was in the nursery. Slowly he lifted the bottom edge of his blanket and peeked out. Michael could still see Captain Hook and the captain's shadow against the wall, and was as large as life. And the shadow looked around the nursery for a moment, and then it crept towards the far corner. A chill ran up Michael's spine. Captain Hook was headed straight for Wendy. Michael knew he had to protect his sister, so he glanced around the nursery. His eyes fell on a wooden sword, and Michael reached to grab the sword as the shadow went for Wendy, and he threw off his covers and leapt towards it, and the shadow stumbled backwards, and Michael lunged at it again, but it swiped at him with its hook. Michael dove underneath his bed, and the shadow reached for him, but it darted away just in time. The shadow jumped up on the bed, and Michael gulped, waiting for the hook to swipe at him again. He wondered why he was only seeing Captain Hook's shadow. Where was Captain Hook hiding? Michael knew he had to do something, but he couldn't stay underneath the bed forever. And Captain Hook was sure to get him sooner or later. Summoning his courage, Michael dashed into the middle of the room, and the shadow came after him. As soon as he tried to get away, he tripped over a ball. The shadow told him, shivering. Michael pictured the crocodile that had been waited for anyone who had walked the plank. Suddenly, Michael heard someone call out, It was Peter Pan. Michael shouted at his hero as he flew in. I'm glad you're here. Captain Hook tried to get Wendy, but I stopped him. Hook was here? And Peter asked, looking around. Why? It's Captain Hook's shadow. Don't let it get away. The shadow tried to run, but Peter Pan flew after it. It's only a shadow? Michael asked. Suddenly, he wasn't so scared. He leapt up on the floor and ran after it too. Grab it from the other side, Peter said. Michael ran to the shadow on the right while Peter flew at it on his left, and the shadow was trapped. In a flash, Michael reached out and caught it. Put it in here, Peter cried, holding out a sack. Michael stuffed the shadow inside the sack, and Peter tried to tie it closed. That was close, Peter said. Why is Captain Hook's shadow here? Michael asked. I stole the shadow as a prank, Peter said. Some prank. The shadow was nothing but trouble. It pulled the Lost Boys' tails and put pine cones in their bed and flew away from Neverland and caused all trouble over London. That sounds really awful, Michael cried, looking at Peter with wide eyes. I'm glad we caught it, Peter nodded. Thanks for all your help, Michael. I'd better fly back to Neverland and return it right away. While everyone else was aboard Captain Hook's ship, it was asleep. Those nasty pirates always cause so much trouble. Do you want to come with me? Peter asked Michael. It'll be a great adventure. Not without John and Wendy, Michael said. Then we'll take them, Peter said, flying over to Wendy's bed. He reached down to give her a gentle shake when he drew back his hand. Then he drew back his hand. Aw, she's fast asleep, he said. He looked over at John and said, John's asleep too. Maybe next time, Peter said, jumping to the window's edge. Goodbye, Michael. Tell Wendy and John I say hello. And he called as he flew out the window. I will, Michael promised. And he waved good night, and then he went back to bed smiling, and he was glad to have another adventure with Peter.